But how comes that you think that you are, or you say that you are an outsider somehow?
Not an outsider, but I'm not tribal.
What does this mean?
People who are living here in many aspects of their life, they are tribal. Both sides, Jews and Arabs, all of them are tribal people. And I think part of the problems comes from this origin, from these bases of the people. They are cannot just skip out of their tribal origin. In order to understand, you need to skip out. You need to be inside, but to skip out a little in order to see things.
But sometimes this is not possible because you're stuck in your tribe and
yes, but
or in your identity.
Yes, of course, but at the same I am living here in Jerusalem as Palestinian, as an Arab, and so on.
West Jerusalem?
And in West Jerusalem.
Not in a poor area?
No, I mean, Palestinians shouldn't live in poor area. I mean,
of course not.
So I am kind of living in diaspora, sort of skipping out. I mean, I'm not living within the tribal community and so on.
And this is possible?
Yes, why not?
Are you alone?
What do you mean?
Usually people are afraid if they leave their community, go somewhere else, to the other, then they are alone.
To the other? This group, the other, I mean, every other person is other.
Exactly. No.
Because a person, man or woman, is his own world. And any other person is other. I mean, he can be another from his own tribe, from his own community, and from other people. So the other, I mean, there is kind of discourse about talking about the other and so on, which is, I don't appreciate this discourse because everybody is there. I mean, everybody is his own.
I agree with you, absolutely. But usually, I think usually people think that they are in their community, they have something to do with each other, and then outside there is the other.
Because the
monster.
But no, I know what you are talking about because these people they have a lack of confidence, of self-confidence.
Okay. Very psychoanalytic explanation.
I don't know, I'm not, but lack of confidence. I don't feel that I've never felt being a minority and so on. I've never felt such a feeling. I'm not a minority. I can speak about myself. I mean, wherever I go, I don't feel as a minority. Maybe I can feel as stranger with people who speak different language. But when I speak the language,
which language do you speak? I mean, now we speak English,
yeah,
but
yeah,
usually.
I speak both Arabic, Hebrew, and English, and both languages are part
How
of the.
comes that you have so mixed, is it an identity? I don't know. Way of dealing with this.
It's not a mixed. It's not mixed identity. Because you assumed that language is part of the identity, which is okay. It is part of it. It's not the whole thing. But both languages are, or both languages belong to this region, to this area, or to this part of the world. Because I am part of this world. And I have the feeling that this world, this region, is mine. So everything that belongs to this region is part of mine.
Okay.
So it's not a mixed. I mean.
Yeah, but usually people think Arabic and Hebrew are two separated.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? Why separate? I mean, you can think of Spanish and Italian and French are separate. Okay, well, they are different things, but they are from the same.
That as somebody who deals with language and who knows maybe a lot about it, you would say that these two languages are close together. They have the way, the structure of the language is almost the same. Can you say?
Yeah. The syntax, the forms of the language, the very basis of the language is quite the same, and it comes from this area. So everything that belongs to this area is part of me. I mean, I have not. I mean, there is differentiation between a political means of the conflict and the cultural thing. I mean, the Hebrew language was before the existence of Israel and so on. So, also in many aspects, Islam cannot be understood without the Hebrew.
Yeah. Okay.
So, even though in order to for Muslims to understand their Holy Scripture, they need the Hebrew in order to understand.
Really?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Although, in order to understand it deeply, not superficially, but deeply, no, because Islam is based on Judaism and Christianity and so on.
Of course. And they have to say, these three religions, they have the same narrative.
Of course.
In the basic. But that's so crazy. They think they have nothing to do. Also in Austria, you have a Christian country and they do campaign against Islam now. The politicians.
It's the politics, but actually the monotheism. Monotheism is a great disaster for the Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Yeah, it's a great disaster.
Why?
Actually, why?
Yeah.
It leads to fascism somehow. Yeah.
Wow! Now every religious person.
Yeah, because
shocked.
because everybody who is a believer believes that his truth is the only truth.
Yeah, that's true.
And if his truth and the only truth and the one God is the only one God and so on, so there is a representative of this truth and this God and so on, and then it will lead to a dictatorship, and things are.
But that's interesting what you say, because historically fascism, like the German, the Italian, also Stalinism, they are without religion.
I'm not sure if you're about the Nazis.
I mean they used the religion for their ideology, but on the other hand they denied it also.
The Nazis, the Hitler, or so on. It was based on Christian things against Jews.
That's true.
This is why I say it's this monotheism, all of them, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, is a great disaster.
But here in this region or in the city,
you see that the conflict now is getting more and more religious. They are talking about symbols of religions.
And you would really say that the religion is the problem? If they would stop to believe, it would be easier to deal with each other?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yes, because a believer cannot compromise on what he believes in.
No.
And there's no way for him to say, I can compromise here and there. No, that there is a truth, a religious truth. Either you take it or leave it.
But then I have a question. I mean, I'm not so in the.
I mean, but Christianity separated state from religion, from the church. Judaism and Islam do not separate. And this is part of the problem.
Yeah, but all these religious books or writings or tradition, whatever, they have this aspect of tolerance, haven't they?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not so religious.
No, not at all. What kind of tolerance?
Yeah, to love your neighbors, for example, is a typical Christian.
It's a very
I'm sure
nice.
Islam has also a thing like this.
Yeah, but this is not the fundamental core of religion. To love your neighbor. Yeah,
it's not fundamental, no.
It's not fundamental. Yeah.
Do you come from a religious family or from a secular family?
No, from my parents. My late father was religious. Yeah.
Have you fights in your family about this topic?
No, not actually, because I come from a small community, from small sect within the Arab community, which is different. I mean, I am a Druze, if you know what's that.
Okay, of course,
Yeah. So in Druze community, there is a separation between
is it their own
religious.
Is it their own? Does it belong to Islam or is it for? I think it
comes out of
Islam,
but it's.
This is what I learned.
Yeah, now it's separate. But it's Arab within Arab tradition.
Yeah, and where does your family come from? Maybe.
From the Galilee. Yeah, they live in the Galilee. Near Tiberias, where Jesus walked on water.
This place.
Yeah.
We were there, but we didn't try
to walk. So they live there. I'm the only one who left the town, the village, and I came to Jerusalem, and I studied here, and I stayed here in Jerusalem.
What did you study?
I studied classical Arabic literature, pre-Islamic literature. And I made my PhD on classical poetry, pre-Islamic poetry.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's...
But I understood that you write in both languages, in Hebrew and in Arabic.
yes.
Your poets also.
Yes.
Are there many poets that are using both languages?
No, actually not. Not few people. Yeah. And it should. Why it should be? I mean, is it amazing thing to write in both languages?
I don't know. I just know that the picture, what I've already said, the picture that people from outside have is that this is absolutely separated, the Arabic world and the Hebrew speaking
Yes,
world.
that's right. Yeah.
So it's of course it causes questions if you learn that
Yeah.
someone
Actually,
has
there,
another way to do it.
within Israel. I mean, if
Yeah.
you would take, I mean, without the occupied territories, even within Israel, I mean, people are living separately.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
There are Arab towns, Arab villages, and so on, and Jewish towns and villages, and so on. There are a few places there are a mixture of people living together, like in Haifa and other places, but mainly people are living separately.
Yeah. But also inside the communities, I don't know it from the Arabic community, but from the Jewish community, all this kind of ultra-Orthodox or secular, they almost have no...
That's right. Even within the Arab community,
Yeah.
within the Arab community, even people, they live separately. You have a Muslim quarter, and you have a Christian quarter, and you have a Druze quarter, and so on. They live separately. That's what I was talking about, the tribal system.
Yeah, of course, I
With,
understood.
it is,
Yeah. But you
I
escaped.
mean, people, for instance, I mean, the town or the village that I came from is mixed.
Okay.
Druze, Muslims, and Christians all live together. But they live in separate neighborhoods.
Okay. And it's invisible borders between them?
There are no borders, but
Invisible.
yes, of course, yes.
And how did you escape this very close society?
I didn't escape.
Escape is a stupid word, but you live in another style.
Yes, because I left and I came to study at the university, and I stayed in the city. But I go often to visit there, and but people, I mean, all of them are Arabs, Palestinian Arabs who are Israeli citizens within Israel and so on, but they live separately. There are no intermarriage between them, even though they go to school together and so on. There is no intermarriage. I mean, the problem that they do not intermarry together, and when they die, they do not die together because they have different cemeteries.
Okay.
One community with different cemeteries and one people. So it's very complicated.
Yeah. But this separation is along the different religious.
Yes. The Christians, and Muslims and Druze. Different, different.
I mean, of course, it's obvious, but
Yeah.
it makes the situation even more complicated or more complex.
And you have from the other side, you have this community altogether facing the the Israeli and Zionist from fronting this conflict with the authorities.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mixture of so many things together. So in such a world, you're living in,
Friedemann? Was machst?
now the cheap version.
Now the expensive version.
We decide afterwards.
Yeah.
No, but I want to continue with this you called it tribes, I call it like living circles of people.
Yeah.
And this is what really fascinated us in Jerusalem, mainly in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
So we think Jerusalem is the place to learn, because we learned a lot about also this kind of separate societies, and whenever we talk to people here, people are suffering out of that somehow.
Suffering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people we know, even
Yeah.
our friends. Maybe it's also a kind of community which is suffering from that. I'm sure that people, I don't know, in Mea Shearim or in other communities, they don't suffer. They need it, so they have reasons to do it, to live like that. But for us, it was a very new experience that there is some kind of spaces reservated, reservated for different kinds of living. And for us, it was we when we first saw it, it was not negative. It was a positive thing to see that there could be another kind of, and we experienced this as a somehow tolerant situation, that there's a different way of let the others, the question marks, live like they want. On the other hand, we learned that a lot of our friends, they don't have this whole city of Jerusalem as their city. They only have parts of it, because they never enter other parts willingly. So it's not because, so they think they cannot go there. They never tried. One of our friends, we took him to East Jerusalem to another friend. We met him. He's a half Gypsy, half Bedouin, and actually this friend who brought us to him, he met him in the center, and then we were invited to this to his house in East Jerusalem, and this Israeli guy told us he never in his life, and he's I think 35 or something, has entered this district, this area, and he was scared to go there. And
yeah, but it is part of the living in this region, I think so, because it reminds me of what we were talking about before, that the place that I came from is a mixture. I mean, it's an Arab town, an Arab village, with a mixture of Christian, Druze, and Muslims living all in one village, in one town. But sometimes I speak to friends there of different backgrounds and so on, and I'm telling them, I'm sure that there are people who are living even in a very small place compared to Jerusalem. It's not a big town. People can be born in the place, live in the place, and die in the place, and there are neighborhoods that they do not enter, which is even in a small village. I mean, a Muslim or a Christian they do not go to other neighborhood. They can meet in the center and so on, but they do not go. Probably this is part of what I say, that this monotheism is a disaster.
Yeah, but as we saw it in a positive way, so I think...
So why this friend that you're talking about, what he is an Israeli Jewish?
Yeah, a mainstream Israeli Jewish guy. And afterwards he was very proud of himself.
Yeah.
And he was really excited that he has been there.
Yeah.
Only that he has been there.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, so we come from a country and a city which was very diverse until the World War I, and it was also very diverse until World War II. And after World War II, after the Nazi time, it was homogeneous. Because of the Holocaust, because of even the Czech minority, nothing exists anymore. More than half of the Viennese population, they have Czech names, but no Czech language anymore, no Czech consciousness. And whenever we are reading the old books and literature and what Vienna was, it's a product of this diversity which doesn't exist anymore. And so somehow for us it's interesting to come to a place which is diverse, which is very diverse, very complex, very complicated.
Yeah.
On the other hand, even if people don't enter the neighbor's area, I think this kind of being in that very tense package together affects people in a way, even if they don't know. Is that a correct impression, or is it just a imago from us? So
I am sure these things have a lot of effects on people and how they see things, because many times this fear of the other, the so-called the other, comes out of ignorance. Ignorance causes fear on people everywhere. When you don't know, you have a fear. You need to and in order to escape this fear, you need to have the readiness. You need to be ready to understand, to listen, to study, to learn, and many times people have no will to learn, to listen.
And how comes?
Curiosity. I mean, curiosity is part of being human. Curiosity. We need to.
So people who are not curious enough, they are not human enough.
No, this is very.
Sorry,
very bad. part of being human is as human we are made of flesh and of some kind of spirits and soul that we don't know. The flesh, okay, we can deal with it, we can understand what's going on with this flesh and so on. But the other part of the soul and spirit and of people, this is needed to be developed or some way pushed in people to understand. And it is not that easy, because it needs a lot of will. You need to have a desire. A wish to know. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. A good power. It can be a very bad power, but we need to take the good part of it, the good power that pushes the humanity forward. And knowledge should be accessible for everybody. Everybody should have access to knowledge.
So that's the reason you're publishing, you're writing?
This is another question. I mean, people who deal with art, music or paintings or poetry, literature, and so on. It's a work of spirits and soul, and I think these people of art, fine arts, it is a kind of fighting death. The only way to fight against death is through these tools. Only because if you see humanity through history, hundreds of millions or milliards of people died through history, but nobody knows. They are gone. Earth. The only things that remains through ages are these art works. It can be, dictators and so on through history. They build buildings. And buildings can stay 1,000 years. The pyramids and so on. That can stay and so on. People of the musicians, writers, philosophers, and so on, they have the word. The word is a very, very important thing, principle. And it is part of the creating the universe.
Even I wanted to mention, even the buildings of the dictators, of the pharaohs, are not done by the pharaohs.
Yeah.
It was architects, it was
Of
artists,
course,
it was painters,
yeah,
it was writers.
Yes, of course,
in the pyramids,
of course, yeah. Without the word, nothing exists in human history. So this is, it's kind of feeling of fighting this unknown, this place of ignorance that is called death. It is a place of ignorance that nobody knows. You know that after some years, people die and they bury them, and that's it. Nothing will be left. The only thing that can stay and make the person immortal is either be music that he left, art that he, poetry that he, philosophy, books, only these things that can stay after him forever. It depends. Well, this is the I think this is the main thing that pushes people to write, to create something. It is writers and artists, and they are in a competition with the first creator.
Yeah, I liked it very much. To be in Jerusalem, it's a place where it's packed with a lot of written word. Mainly the oldest words we have are somehow situated here. And for me it was fascinating even that you can go into the historical hell, the Hinnom Valley.
Yeah.
So it's really, you're close to hell. All these texts are dealing with this death or being immortal. So, but there's a thing which somehow creates a new question in me. During our interviews, so we maybe it's also because of the people we met, but a friend of us just said, "You're doing it absolutely wrong. Why don't you take one guy from Hamas and one guy from the settlers and like the extremists? You cannot say anything about this place without talking to these extremists." And we decided not to do not. And all the people we were talking until now had their certain way of talking about tolerance, about also about this is maybe also a common thing to make a line between themselves and this religious phenomenon. Even the priest Mitri just said there's too much religion but less spirituality. So it seems to be really a phenomenon of this place. And on the other hand, I could feel also kind of, I think you also reacted like this in the beginning, like another Europeans coming to this place and researching, and so like very pissed off this kind of interest. What is it? What do they want? Why don't they leave us alone? Maybe you can say something to this. So
I don't know. When you talk to me, I didn't know what kind of. Sometimes I could think of what you said, and another Europeans were coming to, yeah. But as I said also, I mean, people are curious to understand. I mean, probably you are curious to understand. I mean, this region is not only the place where all the monotheism came out from, but also it's in the news. It's very interesting. Why this place is so interesting, and it comes also from kind of curiosity. But you should speak for yourself, and I mean, I can speak for myself. Your interest in this, but you are connected also.
Maybe that's.
You are connected also to this place somehow. And because you are connected to this place, you are part of the problem and part of the solution.
Why are we connected?
You are connected in many ways. You are connected because of the religious background of Christianity that comes from here, in one hand, which is very obvious, and you are part of you are connected because you are part of the Shoah. That the Shoah did not occur here. It comes from your place.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and we have the effects of this that we are living in, and also as European for the British and so on. It's too complicated. I mean, this is, and you are connected in this way. In this way, you are connected also. So I don't know where it comes from. I mean, your interest in this region, does it come out of genuine curiosity, or as part of cleaning the European conscience about what happened few decades ago in Europe? I don't know. Because many times I see different approaches to this. Sometimes it is really, it's very genuine, it's obvious, and I can understand it because I am open and I want to understand everything and so on. But I mean, you come from Vienna. You should speak out. I mean, why you are interested in.
Sure.
Is it because of your background as a Christian? You're coming to the Holy Land and what's going on? Which is okay. We are happy to
to host some pilgrims.
yeah, European nomads, European Bedouins. Yeah, who are touring the European Bedouins, yeah. Or you have uncomfortable feelings about what you caused. I don't know. Well, this is up to you to.
Do you want to say something, Friedemann? Because I'd like to answer this question.
Now we turn to Utopia.
Yeah, but I want to check the tape because this is very important.
Yeah.
So the question we stopped was whether there is a solution.
Solution for what?
You said you're part of the solution. You're part of the problem. You're part of the solution. To us as Europeans. And then I asked you whether there is a solution. And then you said it's starting to.
I mean, speaking in it should be divided to different questions. Whether there will be a solution between Jews and Arabs, Israelis and Palestinians here, or not. Because it is tribal region, tribal world, tribal region. So the so-called solution would be two-state solution, Israel and Palestine. And two-state solution needs that Israel withdraw from the occupied territories, all the occupied territories, including East Jerusalem. That East Jerusalem will be the capital of the Palestinian state, or one-state solution. It can't be. The situation can't be like what's going on here now. I mean, it can't be. Either two-state solution, with clear borders between two states, a Palestinian state and Israeli state, or one state solution. Because the situation now, it's like kind of a South African style of apartheid and so on. It can't continue like that. And because the both peoples are so tribal, I don't see in the near future a one-state solution in the near future. In order to reach a one-state solution, first you need to have two-state solution. Like Europe. Europe now becoming one entity with open borders. They reach this stage after getting sick of this national borders. And actually, nationalism is a sickness. It is sickness. Mm-hmm. And people, they need cure of this sickness. Now, this world, I mean, you cannot live alone. Mm-hmm. I mean, we are, all the time it was like that. People do not live alone. They live and they communicate with others, with other nations, with others. So the kind of, I mean, you were talking about, I mean, when you called me and you talk about, maybe talking about utopia. I mean, utopia is kind of dream. Like every dream, like fantasy. It's a fantasy. Utopia is a fantasy. And it will stay a fantasy. When fantasy is fulfilled, it stops to be a fantasy. Mm-hmm. And utopia, like a very sweet dream, whenever it is fulfilled, it stops to be a dream.
And also to be sweet.
And also to be sweet. And part of us as human, that's what differs human from animals, is dreaming. It's part of being human is to dream. And I want people, I mean, every person, every human being, to have dreams and to fulfill dreams and to have so many dreams to fulfill, to achieve. Because this is what gives him the will to live and to create and for everybody. So as a utopia, I mean, could be one world. It is part of the globalization. We are becoming one world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On the other hand, isn't it also very problematic to?
You have to, but you have to keep the rights for everybody for living and for dreaming. Mm. everybody has the right to dream. Everywhere. But nobody has the right that his dream will be against others' dreams. I mean, all the dreams of human being must be for the benefit of all, but not to contradict with other dreams.
Everybody should be allowed to dream, to have his utopia. Just a sentence about your dream.
My dream.
Your personal dream.
Personal dream. Do I have dreams?
Or your utopia.
Very difficult question. My dream is that everybody, every person will have the opportunity to know the essence of being human. If everybody knows, has the opportunity to know the essence of being human, our world will look different and will be a better world to live in. It's Utopia. I wish this fantasy will come true. Then I will have a very hard job to look after another greater fantasy.
Okay.
Wow. Good.
Thanks a lot.
But this was not the expensive version, yes?